Yeah, I think just some general thoughts about the ball game. Heck of an opportunity. That's why you play college football for games like this. I think that we haven't been home here for a while. It's been about a month since our last home game, so I know everybody's excited. Anytime you have the national attention, whether it's college game day, primetime game. I think everybody's excited about the opportunity. It's a great opportunity for the University of Texas, our fans, our students, to celebrate Longhorn football. Clearly we're looking forward to a great environment in DKR, the crowd noise, the energy, those are all factors. I think our players feed off of that energy. I think it's an intimidating place to come and play. And I think that the fans have done it and students have done a great job creating that. So all that being said, it's a great opportunity for our players to go out and perform and to do it at a high level. That being said, I thought our players have prepared really, really well. I thought they've really kind of built off of what they did last week and continued that process from a preparation standpoint, whether it's mental, physical, and or recovery. I think the guys have really bought into it. We feel fresh and we feel ready to go.
Great. Thanks, Coach. We'll get started. Go ahead, Kirk.
Yeah, Steve, it's been well chronicled that TCU is a great second half team that kind of has problems in the first half. I don't know if you know about discrepancies like that, but can you detect any reasons why TCU is so much more effective in the second half?
No, I don't think it's anything schematic. I think they do a good job of staying the course. They do a good job of playing hard, continue to play with good effort. They're obviously a well-coached football team. They got good players, and then once you start to have some of those games like that, I think they've got a great deal of belief that they're never out of it. And so it definitely shows up.
Dennis, you're up.
Coach, on Monday, you mentioned that, this could be, the first top 5 win at DKR since '99. Firsts like that, the ability to get this program back at a high level nationally. Do you think you get a sense that motivates your guys?
Well, everybody likes a challenge, you wouldn't be a competitor if you didn't love a challenge. And obviously it's a great challenge when you talk about playing a top 5 team. And so it's, regardless of when the last time was, my reference was we haven't done it since 1999. The idea that we have an opportunity to do something like that, I think as a competitor naturally, instills a little bit more motivation in there. Maybe that has a guy watch film another hour throughout the week, has a guy maybe do a little more recovery, has a guy ask a question maybe that he's uncertain about. So the reality of it is, you got to go play the game, but it sets the stage for a great opportunity for us, something that we haven't done in a while.
Thanks.
Joe Cook, go ahead.
Yeah, Steve, what does Ryan Watts allow you to do on defense? Just does his ability to play that boundary corner really well help the rest of the 10 maybe manage things a little bit better on the rest?
Well, I think obviously Ryan has got great length. He's a physical player. I think he's a very confident player. So in turn, it helps in run support. We can mix up some coverages because he's a really good run defender. We saw that last week on a critical kind of third down stop. But yet, he can do some things with his length to try to minimize releases and do things at the point of attack. And he's mature. I think he communicates well. He trusts the calls from the safeties. And in the end, that level of maturity and experience, I think, is helpful for us as well.
Danny, you're up.
Steve, staying on Ryan, I think he mentioned that he had a relationship with you going back to Alabama. I'm kind of wondering, when he got in the portal, was that a no-brainer decision to go after him, or what attracted you to him?
Well, we knew we wanted to try to take a transfer corner. And transfers are tough because you never really know the whys people are leaving or what. And so if you have a little bit of a history there, about the personality, if you have a relationship there, that makes things a little bit easier. We knew Ryan was a highly competitive guy. We knew the skill set that he had, and the fact that he wanted to come home, I thought just was a natural fit for him and a natural fit for us.
Anwar, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, TCU is known for their explosiveness on offense. I think that one of their stats is they've got about 14 touchdowns this season of 50 yards or more. So what kind of jumps out when you see those explosive plays on film? Are they lulling people to sleep, or is it pretty consistent? And just talk about the challenge of that, defending a big play like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one, they've got a very talented roster. They got a lot of speed on their team. You obviously Quentin Johnston's an easy one to point out, but they've got 4 or 5 receivers that can really run. Obviously, the 2 running backs can get it. They utilize the tight ends really well, and then the quarterback's playing with a lot of confidence. So in turn, when they get the looks they're looking for, he takes the shots and they go get it. They space you out quite a bit. And so if the first guy doesn't get them on the ground, you got to populate the ball because they have the ability to take it the distance. So I think all those things, and then that's the natural concern when you play against anybody. We always try to pride ourselves on minimizing the explosive play. Last week, we were vulnerable to it. We gave up some explosives, and that's something that we've had to shore up this week because these guys will take it the distance. It's not going to be a gain of 40. It's going to be a touchdown.
Danny, go ahead.
Steve, do you think coming back home will help at all with some of these pre-snap penalties? I don't know if you wanted to blame some of those false starts on road environments and it being loud when you're on offense, but will that help at all being at home this weekend?
I think it's always naturally more helpful. I think historically throughout football, a lot of the pre-snap penalties do occur when you're on the road. We don't like to use that as an excuse, that our mental focus and intensity is at a level to where that doesn't occur for us. But I do think it's helpful to be back at home from a communication standpoint, things of that nature.
Ryan, you're up.
Hey, Coach, team leads the nation in QB pressures. Can you just talk about the importance of that pressure, especially against a great pocket passer in Max Duggan?
Yeah, I think it's big. I think our defensive front, this is a great challenge for them this week, obviously with their ability to run the football first, with Miller and, those guys can run it. And then the second part is trying to affect the quarterback. It's hard to always just sack the quarterback, but if you can affect the quarterback, that can be impactful as well. And so, our expectation, our standard is that, everything we do on defense starts up front. And we're fortunate. We've got a good front. We've got a veteran group. We're going to need those guys to play well Saturday night.
Chip, go ahead.
Steve, you've coached Heisman Trophy winners, and with no clear-cut Heisman leader right now, do you think Bijan Robinson should be considered for the Heisman Trophy here heading into the final stretch, and why?
Well, I think Bijan is a fantastic football player. He's such a versatile guy. Whether it's running it, catching the ball out of the backfield, catching the ball as a wide receiver, what he means to our team. Coming into this season with a very young offensive line, what he's been able to do, I think, has been extremely impressive. Obviously the explosive plays, the tough runs. And so, the Heisman is a unique thing. Generally, the Heisman goes to the teams that are winning. Whichever guy's on the team that's winning generally is the guy that's one of the front runners or the front runners for it. So if we want him to be considered for something that prestigious of an award, we got to do our part as a team, and we got to keep winning more games.
Roger, go ahead.
Coach, Quinn's been through a lot since the last time he was at home, between OSU, a bye week to, kind of gather everything together, and then the big win at K-State. How much does that help moving forward to just have experiences when you're trying to stack those experiences on top of each other?
Oh, it's huge. As a young player, as a young quarterback, there's nothing like experience. There's nothing like, being exposed to different scenarios in game, being exposed to different defenses, being exposed to tough times, being exposed to good times, and then how you respond to them. And I give Quinn a lot of credit. I thought he really bounced back well. I thought he handled road game adversity much better against Kansas State. I didn't think that for a second was he shell-shocked or nervous or any of that, going into the K-State game coming off of Oklahoma State. He handled himself really well. My expectation, he's going to take a lot of the things from the K-State game, just like he did the previous games, and continue to grow. We knew this was going to be a maturation process for him. And to his credit, he's been coachable and he continues to work through it all and continues to improve.
Joe, go ahead.
Another Bijan question. He's 41 yards away from, I think, 3,000 yards. The names at this program who have reached 3,000 yards are pretty special. What do you think? What do you consider that accomplishment to be, considering Jamal, Ricky, Earl, some of the names that he'll be joining in that company?
Very impressive. And to think he's going to do it in 3 years is extremely impressive. For us, the idea that he is so versatile, and it's easy to look at the rushing yards, and sometimes we overlook the receiving yards as well. But he's, we can sit here on the entirety of this call and talk how great Bijan is, and the accomplishments are going to continue to roll in, and the awards are going to roll in for him. But I think you could probably ask Bijan, and I could probably speak for him on this. He wants nothing more than to win Saturday night. Whether it's 40 yards or 140 yards, whatever he needs to do to help our team win, that's the mindset that he has week in and week out. And I think that's what makes him ultimately such a special player.
Dennis, go ahead.
Coach, on a massive game week, this might be off your radar, but this whole collective, the Texas One Fund, how they're putting all of them together, consolidating them. Do you have any thoughts on that? And how does your role change now that's out there?
Well, I mean, I think that's where we're headed in college athletics right now, right? And the fact that, Chris O'Connie, the university, have formulated this, I think, is a positive. I think we're doing it the right way. I don't think anything we've done from an NIL perspective and now from on this front has been above board, and they've done it in a way that I think is going to become a positive, and that there's room for growth. With the idea that now I can talk to donors about NIL and how to support and what we're trying to get accomplished here for our student athletes, I think is big. And it's not just me, it's every sport here at the University of Texas. I've said this all along. We've got the best coaches in the world here on every level. We recruit the best athletes in the world to come swim, play basketball, play football, run track, play volleyball, whatever that is, baseball. And so if we can support that on different levels, I think it's all a positive, because that's where we're headed now. And so the idea we can agree or disagree with NIL, we're beyond that. Now it's how do we support it, and how do we do it the right way, and do it with class like the University of Texas always does.
Got time for a couple last ones. Sam, go ahead.
Hey, Steve, I know you guys had a really, really big game atmosphere earlier this year with the Alabama game at home. This one obviously is going to be another one with college game day and the primetime atmosphere. How much do those atmospheres and environments help you guys in recruiting?
Well, I think it's big. When you think about, we're the only school in the country this year that has had college game day twice. And the idea that, we can promote what the University of Texas kind of is and stands for. We're a brand. We're a national brand. We're a worldwide brand. And that's part of the reason you come to a University of Texas, is for these opportunities to play in these types of games and to have this exposure. And so, definitely look forward to, having game day, having the primetime game, and showing off what all that the University of Texas has to offer.
Anwar, go ahead.
Sorry about that, Coach. But kind of playing off of Sam's, question there as well, Coach. Is this a game that you embrace? Because a lot of times when it comes to the big game, Coach, some guys just want to say it's just one game and just kind of downplay it. Do you play it up in the locker room? How much do you embrace it?
I think I'm not naive to the fact that, hey, I recognize all that's kind of surrounding the game. I do think we do a pretty good job of staying focused on the task at hand and quieting the noise. And because these are the games more people call you and ask for tickets, right? These are the games that ask our players, can I get a ticket? And the coaches, and that can be a distraction. Game day coming can be a distraction. Fighting for first place in the conference can be a distraction. I think the challenge, which we've touched on since Monday with the players, is quieting the noise, focus on the task at hand. And that's going out and playing really good football against a very good opponent.
Two last ones. Roger, go ahead.
Sark, one of those kind of bigger than football moments Saturday with the Veterans Day. What does that mean to you and to your guys? And, always a little perspective on these days.
Yeah, it's definitely perspective. We've obviously got players on the team who have family members, parents, aunts, uncles, brothers who are been in the military or currently in the military. So for us to show our support for all that they do, for the opportunities that they've allotted us to do what we love to do, which is play and coach football. Definitely an appreciation for that. And we'll do our best to acknowledge them here Saturday night.